Pleasant good morning, morning neighbor, morning. Good morning to what you want and all. Welcome to the midweek episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption Incompetence. Today, Wednesday, the 16th day of July in the year of our Lord 2025. Welcome one and all. Hope you had a restful 2 nights because you were here on Monday. Hope you had a restful Monday night, Tuesday night, and so on. Yeah, so welcome one and all. Another great day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. Let's give praise and thanks for being in the land of the living. It is indeed a privilege to be in the land of the living, and we should never, ever take that for granted. Never take it for granted. Never, ever, right? It is through the mercies of the Lord that we are here this morning to participate in this program. And again, I got to compliment my students, man. Schoolyard packed this morning. And we have so much to tell you. You know, when it comes to content, when it comes to clarifying issues and so on, we are never short, you know. We left here Monday afternoon with an idea of some of the things that we had left over, and we will talk about this morning. But so many things have happened within the last, less than 48 hours that we need to bring to your attention, and we will do so. We get police killing at Linden. We get murder this morning, double murder this morning at Buxton. And we have so many other things to bring to your attention, right? So sit back. And I am pleased to announce that this morning we are allowed to stream on Facebook. On the last program on Monday, I got a notification through the platform that we use that they were unable to stream on the page on Facebook. And so I was a bit worried that we're not going to get the stream on Facebook any longer. But when I went live, I noted that my students on Facebook are on. Let me see how the numbers stacking up. Yes, we have almost 600, and we have about the Facebookers close to 100 online, right, to view. So again, I want to appeal to you that the safest thing to do is to gravitate to YouTube, right? Facebook can have issues. These people report you to Facebook. Sometimes they claim or make all type of false claims that you're spreading violence, you're preaching racism, and all of that. And sometimes Facebook, without doing any proper investigation, they might block you. So you are encouraged to go to YouTube. Having said that, the number of people that were on YouTube on Monday was staggering. Almost 2,000 persons were on the live. And for the time the program done and you go into YouTube, all those who perhaps couldn't catch it on Facebook saw the replay on YouTube. Right now it's over 13,000 and counting views on YouTube. Within the first 8 hours or so, you had so many people on YouTube. So yeah, share the live. My colleague, Mr. Conway, is here. He's ready and he's waiting. As I've said, this is another day that the Lord has made. Now, let me tell you this might disappoint some, but because of the number of students in the schoolyard and the many things that we have to discuss this morning, we're gonna once again today have a truncated roll call, right? The program was scheduled at 7, and once we schedule the program at 7, you can see, if you look at the comments, those of you here, you can see how many people rushed in. You might not be able to see the time, but you can see the number of your fellow students who are in the classroom now. They're in the classroom now, waiting. And we're not going to keep you waiting for too long. What we're going to do, as I've said, truncated roll call. People came in at 7. Quite a number of persons came in at 7. But they are listed in this order: Ulrich, then Kenneth, Peter, Ezzy, Trotty, Danny, Evelyn, Evelina, Gabo, Grantley. Then we have Carlton, my squad mate, Aubrey from Canada. No, this is not the Aubrey from Canada. This is another Aubrey. Moses, Tessa from Florida, Marcia, Barbara, Roxanne, Bonita, Marlon, Desiree, Carl. They all came at 7. Then they followed at 7:01. I'm going to give you the people who came shortly after. We had Clifton, Pastor Smith, Then Puran from Essequibo Coast, Sean from the upstate, Patricia from New Jersey, Joseph, Raul is here, 7-1, Sydney, Courtney, Evanlina, Carol, Benji from Myconi, Rosalind, Clarence, Aubrey from Canada, John, Vashti, Claire, Father Masha, Clifton from Paris, Anthony, Forgus, then it was Vashti, Brian, then they all came at 7:01. So yeah, we have lots and lots and lots of people in. And then you can't left out the Facebook students. When we went live, let me see who's the first person on Facebook to come in. When we went live at when the school door was open a short while ago. Let me see how they stack up. First body, Edward Charles, not surprising. Edward Charles was the first man, followed by Alston, Carlton. Then we have Shalon, Abu, Bonita, Steve, Colvin, and they all, Lynette from Barbados. They all came in shortly thereafter. Rhonda Lane, then I'm still in the house. Yeah, so we have lots and lots to tell you this morning, and we're going to make the announcements, and we're going to move straight into it. Pace and power. Pace and power. Again, let them know Facebook is streaming this morning. We were able to stream on Facebook, and I noted it looks like the connection is fairly good this morning. It looks that way. I hope you can hear me loudly. I hope there's no buffering and all of that. Now, let me go to the announcements. We said we start with the sad ones first. And the sad one, just to remind you, 488 days since Sergeant Alex Vaughn was shot and killed. He was shot and killed on the 12th of March, 2024. 488 days have passed. And all I said in the initial report that accidental friendly fire. Some police have said kill him, and he was under, the policeman who shot him was under close arrest. After that, you didn't hear nothing from the police. Even the family are complaining that they have not heard anything from the police. 488 days since a police sergeant shot on duty. And they talk about transparency. They use all of these words, and they don't know the meaning of those words. And to go on, we told you too about the death of ex-corporal Jerome Bailey, and to remind you that his funeral is tomorrow, the 17th. They say the body will be at the viewing at the Merriman's. No? We have Merriman's funeral from 1 to 1:30, and followed by the service. So that is ex-corporal Jerome Bailey, 18051. We were told that he's the son of ex-detective 9495 Bailey, my squad mate. So the information is that he's going to be buried tomorrow. Then we told you too about the death of ex-member Leroy Charles, and to remind you that that funeral service is on Sunday at Carib Funeral Home, 1922 Utica Avenue, Brooklyn. And I learned yesterday that there is going to be a wake tomorrow night, tomorrow, Thursday, at the Ex-Police Association building. Excuse me, that is located at 609 East 53rd Street, Brooklyn. So this tomorrow night, and the wake is from 8 o'clock tomorrow night. We did tell you too that Charlie will be buried in Guyana. So the funeral services in New York will be Sunday coming, the 20th, at Caribbean Funeral Home, viewing from 2 to 4, funeral service from 4 to 6, and then the body goes to Guyana for funeral service on the 26th, Sunday the 26th. They say it's at Zor, I think that is the pronunciation, Zor Congregation Church. They say that somewhere in that area, Beto Pleasance area, and then he will be interred at the Good for Walking Cemetery. So, and then we got news of the death of a former member, former Corporal Lloyd Henry Irving Light. He was at one time at the CID headquarters, and he died recently, and he will be buried on Saturday. That is Saturday coming at Eversham on the quarantine. Don't have the details about exactly where all is viewing from 12 to 1 followed by the service. That's Eversham on the quarantine, ex-corporal, I think he was a detective, uh, Lloyd Henry Irvin White. He used to station at CID headquarters at some stage. And um, well, we're going to come back to the deaths because we have some other deaths. The police killing at Linden, another police killing, and then that's yesterday, I think. And then we have this murder, double murder. Well, at least 2 people are dead so far, confirmed. Others have been shot and injured and are in the hospital. So we're going to talk about that. And in terms of birthday greetings, the more pleasant announcements. Today is the birth anniversary of a student who's here. So you're going to be surprised that we know this. David Lindo, number was 16312. He is a loyal student. He's here every single, like many others, but he's here every single day. He's on this program every single day, right? Somebody says Sunday will be the 25th. Is the 27th? Yeah, well, right. Sunday the 27th, but I think Charlie is the 26th. Thank you. I should remember that date. That is a special date for me, right? If I said it, I think it's the 20. I can confirm it though. Let me confirm it now. I don't want to give you all misleading information. Then they say the body is flown to Ghana funeral service on July the 26th. July the 26th is the funeral service for Charlie. July the 26th. So sorry for giving you misleading information. Oh, I forget that. That date, July 27th, is a very special day for me. So thanks to the correction. I haven't gotten somebody talk about it, Sergeant Bailey. We haven't gotten the details of the funeral as yet. As soon as we get that, we'll bring it to your attention. So going back, we have here Lindo, birthdays today. Congrats to Sergeant Lindo. Got some legal issues, and he has been off the job for years and years and years and counting. And I still have to ask you if you have done your own work and if you have listened to that song by Sparrow since he done the Lay Stay. And many students have said to me they listen to the song and they like it. They like it. Very wicked Sparrow. Then we have birthday greetings, belated birthday greetings to retired Deputy Superintendent Theo Crandon. Theo Crandon celebrated, I think it was yesterday. And then also former member Laverne Mansell. I can't remember what rank she retired as, but Laverne had a birthday too recently, and Theo Crandon. And in terms of the upcoming birthday, we have one coming up for Morris Fraser. Can't remember what rank Morris retired as, but his is coming up shortly. And also Charles Allen. I don't know if he's Allen or Allen. Detective Sergeant Allen. He's celebrating tomorrow. He is celebrating tomorrow, Charles Allen. So congratulations to all those who are celebrating today, who have celebrated recently, and who will be celebrating in the near future. Let me bring in Mr. Conway, and then we're going to get on with it. CC, welcome.
Thank you. Good morning. Happy to be in the land of the living. To do God's work is a privilege. Sadly, that some persons from Buxton didn't make it today. Sympathy to all those persons that you mentioned, their relatives, friends, loved ones. And also happy birthday greetings, Laverne Mansell. I think she's in Guyana, but sure her husband, Stephen Mansell, who retired as a senior super. We're going to put out the works out in her absence. And Charlie Allen. I know Charlie since we were constables in 1973 on the East Coast, C Division then. And then when I was commander, he was my detective officer in Linden. He was my detective officer in Borbies, where he retired. Excellent detective. Any problem, he says, Skipper, don't worry, I'm going to look after it. And he used to look after it. Excellent detective, a very dogged investigator. And our relationship didn't stop there after he left the work. When I became a security consultant for an Australian-based mining company, I took him on as my training officer and my investigator. So he used to do a lot of background checks and so forth. And then he gravitated to become the deputy. And he worked there until the company started producing gold. So in advance, congratulations to you, Charlie. I hope that we can catch up and have a little beer or some wine or something. And I say, excellent detective officer. Not them jokers that we know. Not them one who know senior superintendent and got pick out a piece of paper and read the caution to the mayor and them kind of thing. I work with some very excellent detective officers and people like Charles Allen, people like Philip Armstrong, people like Marlon Chapman would say, Skipper, don't take worries, I gonna look after it. People like Cosbort, during the time when we used to call Bucks on the Gaza Strip, those were excellent men. And I had plenty of other excellent detective officers who didn't work with me, but they were very excellent detective officers. So congratulations in advance to you, Charlie, and I hope that we catch up.
Yeah. What your squaddy was when I been with Demerara, you had your squaddy there, Ivan Walters too, as a excellent the divisional detective officer. I can tell you, Louis Crawford, when I went to Borbis, Louis Crawford. I mean, we're gonna left, I might forget some names, but the late what's his name? Adams, Philbert Adams. These people were fantastic. When you have things that will come to you, crime, they come, they brief you. And when they put up files and so on, you talk about Philip Armstrong. You were confident that you could read and understand. And you know that by the time it gets to you, that file gets to you as a commander, it would have gone through many checks by the divisional detectives and the divisional detective officer. They're sending no half-picked doc to you. They're sending no half-picked doc. So yeah, you have some very, very good people. The standards have fallen tremendously over the years. As you rightly pointed out, we got a divisional detective officer who's now a senior superintendent. At the time, I think he was a superintendent. He went to arrest Mayor Yuvraj Singh. For that matter, that was dismissed not so long ago. Went to the mayor's office. And for him to read the caution to the mayor, he had to take out a piece of paper from his pocket and read the caution, right? He had to do that. Yeah, Cortez, but you see, Henry and those people were senior to me. And therefore, Henry, we were basically speaking about the detective officers who worked under us when we were commanders. But Henry and those people were fantastic officers. We know that. Ulrich Landon, Thomas Bizet, and people of that era, Ignatius McCrae, and all of those people, Rohit Sharma. Yes, you had fantastic people, right? They talk about Babarak, oh, welcome my squad mate. Again, welcome wasn't a detective divisional officer, but was a good detective, worked with me in a division. So all these people I know very well. But the standards have fallen, and I'm saying this again. I don't necessarily blame the individuals. I blame the system. The system does not prepare them for these very senior and important positions. They are pitchforked into those positions without proper preparation. So don't blame them fully. Well, yes, they have to share some of the blame because they should seek to educate themselves, right? But they sit back there knowing full well that promotions are going to come, whether they qualify or not, whether they thief, whether they corrupt, whether they have knowledge, it's going to come because in many cases because of who they are aligned to, and in many cases because of their ethnicity. They know that. That is on the record. That is there. So yes, so those things are there. So yeah, congratulations to all those forces and so on. This morning I had to do a little reshuffling to decide where to start. But let me start from this, what we did on Monday. On Monday, I showed this picture. And I said, well, last night, Mark Belschap took me to task in relation to this picture in a good way, in a jovial way, because I posted this picture on my Facebook page yesterday, and I said, the female on the right is a woman sergeant attached to the Eastern Plains Police Station. Bad construction of the Queen's language, because in saying the female on the right, I think I can imply, that the person on the right is also a female. That was never my intention. It's just that I wrote a little hurriedly, I guess, and I did not. I never intended to refer to the vice president as a female. But if you read what I said, I'm going to admit that. I said the female on the right is the woman sergeant, Janine Johnson Station at East of Plains Police Station. Right? So Mark picked it up last night, and Mark went to work on it, and in a good way, in a good way. But let me, after having posted this, having posted this picture yesterday, they sent out a troll. They sent out a troll to attack me, right? The troll attack. Hold on, let me see if I get the troll attack and attack and attack. He tell me all sort of things. But I don't know if it's a he or she or a it, right? But I maintain, let me understand it, let me say this. I don't see some people took him on or took it on, whatever it is. Because when I check the profile of the person, there ain't nothing that can identify some fancy picture, not a photograph, and then no friends and that. So you know it's a troll. I suspect it is a troll, right? So the troll attack, but I maintain, and as some people said in the comment, I don't care who she support. Any member of the force has a constitutional right to support or to any party. But I'm saying to dress up in the party color and go to a rally, right, is unacceptable for serving police, a serving member of the discipline service, even public service, to dress in a political party. In this case, it's PPP, but any political party uniform, and to go there, right? So it's wrong. It's wrong, right? But the troll come and attacking me and telling me that I'm a wicked man. All sort of personal attack the troll. Well, of course, you know, I make this point. I am not against criticism, but if you want to criticize and if you want to attack, do go up on your own page, not me page. This page, speaking out, exposing corruption and incompetence, belongs to Sloan Conway. And if you want to come out and lash, make your own page or go on one of those things. I saw too the product of the expired traumatized sperm. It too came out. I should say it too came out and made a comment. Want to know which list I on, referring to the list of people submitted a nomination. Let me tell E, she, it, and others. As I've said before, I ain't no politician. And for information, many politicians and people who supposed to approach me to get involved, I tell them, nah, me too old for that. Told them just that. I too old for at this age, say getting involved in that dirty, nasty politics of Ghana. So they attack. They person attack me. And they refer, let me tell you this. One of the things the person said is that when I was commander at West Demerara, which I was, I went there in 1993, I met enough police lads, they walk and answer. I have no apologies for that. Not only West Demerara, but other places where I was in command and caught corrupt policemen. He mentioned the name of one person. I'm not going to call the person's name, right? Because I don't know if the person, it's unfair for me to call the person's name. But people like Ulrich and people like Kevin and those people might know what I'm talking about. There was a dishonest policeman at Vridenhoek. He mentioned the body name. Dishonest, corrupt policeman at Vridenhoek. At the time, I was not the commander. I was the second in command. Loknath Singh was the commander, the late Assistant Commissioner Loknath Singh. This man, an Indian man, came and he made a report that this police harassing me and want money from me. He did something. He stopped somewhere within 30 feet of the corner, some minor traffic offense. And this policeman demanding with menace from him, demanding money from me. The man fed up because the man was involved in the community policing arrangement too. The man came to Lenora and the man made a report. And I remember the incident very, very well because at the time, the people on the junior officers course were on detachment. And the late Messiah, right, was there on attachment along with Nolan Hendricks, retired Assistant Commissioner Nolan. They were there. And we decided we're going to set a trap to catch this dishonest policeman. And the trap was set, and he was caught with the marked money. And he was charged and placed before the court. The magistrate then was Oscar Parvitan. I never forget it. Because when I went into the witness box to give evidence as to what transpired, his lawyer, who is still practicing and calling him, decided he's going to attack me and tell. But who know me know when I write, I don't tell lie on people. Well, I gave the evidence. And then during the course of the my evidence. I said that when the complainant, the virtual complainant, made the report to me, I believed him. And when the policeman, when he was caught with the money, denied, I did not believe him. And then the lawyer picked up on that and want to know how I believe a civilian come to make a report to me. And the policeman who is swerving there, I did not believe him and so on. I said, Counsel, I prefer not to answer that. No, you must answer. You must answer. He insisted. I said, I prefer not to answer that. He turned to the magistrate, the late Oscar Parverton, and pleaded with the magistrate for me to answer. The magistrate said, Counsel, why are you pushing the officer to answer? He must have very good reasons why you don't want to answer. He said, no, your worship, he must answer. So here, Parverton told me, he said, Commander or officer, answer the question. So I said, well, the reason why I did not believe the constable is because several similar allegations were made against him. And that was true. Then I said so, the lawyer, no, he wonderstruck. Magistrate said, you were warned. You were warned. You go fishing, and that is the face that you catch. The police get 3 months in jail for corruption. So it's not now I talking out against corruption. Ulrich and Kevin and nobody one who was stationed at the Amstel police station, who took the bribe in the magistrate's compound. Well, we set the trap and we caught him there. And then he found, he was a detective. He lived at Denhamstel at the time. They threatened me because I lived in Georgetown. I used to travel every day. They threatened what they're going to do me when I pass. And I tell them, I say, let me tell you something. Let me set a date. I pass in there every day around this time. Yeah, come and let me war. I said, come and let me war. I did my job. Corrupt police. A division, the same thing. Bobbies. I have a reputation of going after corrupt people. So I have no apologies to make for that troll what come out and think, what? I'm a wicked man. And what jail? He said jail awaiting me. We don't matter with the charge. That's other thing he said. Well, let me tell you this. I am not afraid. As I told them already, let me read back what I tell you all. Right? Let me quote the lawyer U.C. Anderson. Right? Let it be known to all and sundry that I fear not yesterday, not tomorrow, not today, or not ever any creature known to man, irrespective of his office, irrespective of the office they hold. I am not possessed by a spirit of fear. That's what you see Anderson said. And I quote him, I am frightened nothing. They said, do nothing, fear nothing. It's a process, I can go through the process. Right? I can go through. So the troll that they sent out, you got to come better than that. By using that, I view that as a badge of honor. The fact that I was able to root out some corrupt policemen from the force, I see that as a badge of honor. And anybody who worked with me will tell you, I never stand for corruption. I was never corrupt. There's never been any corrupt allegation made against me. Right? And the ranks know. I stood up for my ranks. I stood up for you. But not when you're corrupt. I say, yeah, you're gonna go up on the road, you're gonna make mistakes. Sometimes you arrest somebody and you make mistake, but I always try to find out the facts. And once there is a benefit, then we see how it goes. I setting out to tell lie and give nobody trouble. Enough policemen, they will tell you. Many policemen, they will tell you that I consider myself a fair person. But if you're corrupt, I want nothing to do with any corrupt person. Nothing. And they know that. The ranks under me knew. The ranks under me knew. I was commander D division. I was commander A division. I was commander Borbies. I was commander traffic. I was traffic chief. All of them. And people who work with me know that Paul Slow don't mess around with dishonest and corrupt people. So even if they're in government, I ain't messing them with corrupt and dishonest people. So they got to come again. But I maintain that the action, somebody said this morning, I was listening to a program this morning that said even, you see this? The people are alleging that serving policemen are part of lists that were submitted on Monday to GCOM. As candidates, serving policemen. I don't know how true it is, but I hope they would investigate. But then you're going to hear them tell you, oh, they have a constitutional right to be on list. Nonsense. Not if you're wearing uniform in the discipline services, if you're in the public service. Cannot. Should not happen. Should not, if you want to be a politician, then you got to resign from the police force. You can't be a police and a politician. You have them like the squad and all of them campaigning for things and so on. And I know they not very overtly, not covert, very overtly they're doing it. How can people respect the police force when these things are happening? People see them. You got a sergeant in charge of a police station. That is our posture. And people trying to justify that. It cannot be justified. I don't care what they say. It cannot be justified. She is the sergeant. Let me show you. She is the sergeant in charge of East Penitent Police Station. That is what you said, Johnson. And she is at the rally. All right. Not even little clandestine thing. You put on the thing and you sting off here. She got on PPP colors with cap and hugging up the Vice President Jack Deo with PPP cup in she hand. And you want to tell me that is correct for serving member of the force? And they ain't going to do nothing, They are not going to do a thing. But what happens? The public will lose respect for them. The public loses respect for the police, and the police is brought into more disrepute because of actions like that. Let me bring you Mr. Conway. See, your views, my brother, and all that I've said.
Well, fully agree with you, with that female police sergeant there with the PPP colors and the cup at the PPP rally. That is not the correct thing to do. Yes, you have the right to choose which party you want to represent, but you can't come out openly. No way. And then they had the little boy at Morocco, in region number 1. He showed some courtesy, shook the hands of Mohammed, and he ended up in region 6, from one end of the border to another end of the border. And like you, Paul, we were against corruption. I put police before the court for corruption. I put civilian in front of the court. The last one I put before the court when I was Commander C Division, where he offered me a bribe. Brummel was there, and I called out to Brummel, offered me a bribe. And not only that, I charged him. And as an assistant commissioner, I went to court on 37 occasions for the matter. 37 occasions, because they're waiting for the day that I don't turn up, and then they would dismiss the case and say, "Oh, the commander does no regards for the court, or this matter is long overdue," and all. They were planning that, and by then I got transferred to Bobby's as commander, and they said I'm not going to come to court, but they were doing me a good thing because I was living in Georgetown. So when I used to come to town the day before court, spend the next day home, and then go back to Bobby's the next day. So I used to get some family time all in between. 37 times I went. And when I gave evidence, the lawyer cross-examined me, and then he asked the magistrate for postponement to further cross-examination, which the magistrate agreed. And then during that, before the case call up again, they bring forward the case. The man pleaded guilty, and I give him a fine. So I wasn't concerned with that. But we are thoroughly against corruption at all levels and any place where corruption is.
Yeah, and you see people saying the same thing now, because people saying they have ordered them that rally. Again, let me understand this clearly. A police rank or any rank in the public service, army or thing, you are entitled to vote for any party of your choice. Any party of your choice. But we are saying that to openly display the preference for one by wearing the colors and all of that, it is unacceptable. It is totally unprofessional. It is unprofessional. And as somebody just told me, that if she had turned up in another party color, right, she would have been disciplined, like that, like how they transferred the constable from Northwest all the way to Region 6 because he shook the hands of Azuddin Mohammed. A very courteous thing to do. He got transferred, and she there at the place there, nothing happened because she's supporting, and you want to tell me that is right? And you want to tell me that would engender respect for the police? Even the rank of the station, I sure, and who are against that thing, even those perhaps who are favorable to the same party, can decide will she conduct unbecoming. But what can happen? Nothing is going to happen, I don't think. nothing is going to happen. And that, except that people continue to lose respect for the police force. Especially, people will continue to lose respect for the police force, because when you display that type of partisanship, any action that you take will be viewed as being partisan. So somebody going to make a report to the station and you fail to take action, they're going to say because he's a PVP supporter, you ain't doing what you're supposed to do. That is what is going to happen. That is what is going to happen. But let me move on. Well, I mentioned that to tell you about the troll when I sent out yesterday and asked that thing, how I make police last the work, and I was a wicked man, and all that. The man even got so far would tell me, he gets so personal that I'm doing all this because me and get children and all them type thing. But it must be a she. I said must be a she. And what it says, I didn't get children with she. But this is what she want to say. They come out, I can tell you the name just somewhere. I got the name written down someplace. I can tell you all the name, or what, at least the name that appears on the profile. I'm not sure if it's it look like it's a fake profile, but I can tell you all the names. Some of y'all might recognize the name if it is a real person indeed. Something Taylor. Taylor is the last name, I remember that. But the first name is a little fancy first name. I can tell you all it. I think I had it written down somewhere. Now let me move on, man. Guyana nice bad. The latest thing, what they say yesterday. Yesterday, look. Wanted bulletin. Wanted bulletin. The wanted bulletin is for Bradley Sampson, aka Doggy. Wanted bulletin for Doggy. Right? Let me play the tape to show y'all what caused this wanted bulletin to be issued. Y'all sit back, share the live. The thing sweet bad. Let me play the tape and let y'all see the short tape. This is what transpired yesterday.
Are you playing with
I think I got played one more time for it sink in. One more time. It's less than a minute. One more time. Let's sink in.
Are you playing with
Somebody asked what in the right hand is a gun. It's a pistol in the right hand. Here, the release by the police. Well, I ain't got the release. Let me read the article. The article from this morning, Saarbrück News. Caught on camera, that is the guy what they call Doggy in the black t-shirt or short you saw there. Police last evening issued a wanted bulletin for a well-known social media personality. Bradley Sampson, better known as Doggy, following a video of him seen assaulting a woman with a firearm. You saw it there for yourself. According to the wanted bulletin, Sampson is wanted for threatening behavior, threatening language, obscene language, disorderly behavior, assault, possession of a firearm without a license, and possession of ammunition. The police release did not provide further information, but a trending video showed Sampson an heated altercation with a woman at the Square of the Revolution. At the beginning, a woman in striped pants is seen holding what looks like a broken piece of cardboard or a box. The focus quickly shifts to the confrontation between Sampson and a woman who was angrily pointing in his face. It appeared as if he hit her and she fell to the ground. A scuffle ensued and Sampson pulled out a weapon, which he pointed at the woman and swung the weapon at her more than once, although it was unclear if the gun connected. Now, let me pause here to tell y'all, I don't know how to write this thing, but you talk about a weapon and then the weapon turn a gun. I learned a long time ago, and when I used to teach firearm, a weapon can be anything, can be a knife, can be a brick, can be anything. But you talk about pointing a weapon, and then you talk about although it was unclear if the gun connected. These are the type of writings that you got to point out. You started the paragraph, you say it appears that the focus quickly shifted to the confrontation between Sampson and the woman who was angrily pointing his face. It appeared as if he hit her and she fell to the ground. A scuffle ensued and he pulled out a weapon, which he pointed at the woman and swung the weapon at her more than once, although it was unclear if the gun connected. So the weapon suddenly turned a gun. The weapon suddenly turned a gun. But let me continue. Immediately after, a large woman in a blue jersey with wind emblazoned on the front, the same jersey supporters of the We Invest in Nationhood War on Monday, intervenes, seemingly trying to separate the two. Other individuals are also present, observing the scene or attempting to de-escalate. The video is chaotic, with people moving around and shouting. Though the audio is muffled and specific words are hard to discern, it appears to be a public dispute that escalated into physical contact. Early in the day, this is important, early in the day, Sampson made a post on his Facebook page, quote, "All the people who I hired to work on the water truck, meet me at meet me at coffee at 12 p.m. today," end of quote. He was prominent in the Win crowd on Monday. Then it says Sampson is a candidate on the Win party's list of candidates submitted to GCOM on nomination day. In response to the incident, presidential candidate Azudin Mohammed released a statement on his Facebook page last evening. Mohammed stated, quote, "It was brought to my attention a few minutes ago, a matter involving Mr. Bradley Sampson and a young woman at the Square of the Revolution earlier today," end of quote. He continued, quote, "I want to make it clear that the actions of Mr. Sampson are not in line with the values held by me or the Win Party. I wish to emphasize in the strongest term that neither I nor the Win Party condone any form of violence, especially against women." Mohammed concluded his statement by offering an apology. Quote, "I wish to publicly apologize to the young woman involved and hope to do so in person as well," end of quote. Now they got a lot of things to unpack it, because after that, this morning I saw a statement purported to have been issued by Mr. Bradley Sampson, a.k.a. Daggy, right? And hear what it says. It's that long, so I'm going to read it. "I've seen the comments and reaction to the video making the rounds online. First and foremost, I want to say that I've personally apologized to the young lady involved. What happened is not a true reflection of who I am. In a heated moment, I let my emotions get the better of me, and for that, I am deeply sorry. I am not perfect. I am human. I make mistakes, and I'm learning and growing just like everyone else. To my fans and supporters, I ask for your forgiveness and understanding. I will always be the dirty doggy you have come to love, but I also hope you won't judge my character based on a single lapse in judgment. We all have moments where we let our anger take over, but what matters is how we own up to them and move forward. Thank you for giving me the space to do that." That is a statement allegedly made by or on behalf of, I think it's the latter, on behalf of Daggy. Now, we got some stuff to unpack there. The police issuing this wanted bulletin, right? Now, and this is policing. So I hope that the young policemen take note. Young policemen take note. We can teach, we can teach. Y'all share the life, man. Share the life. We can teach. We got a lot to teach from this thing. And as I've said repeatedly, when these things happen and statements are released and items are carried in the news, we come and we analyze, like I've analyzed just now. Corrupt news, you can't talk about a weapon and then the weapon turned to a gun. No, you can't, because we talk about the weapon, right? And even the training, the old soldiers here and they might remember, you can't call a rifle a gun. You can't call a revolver in the army a gun. You get punished for that. A rifle is a rifle. A gun is a gun. And the people will know the difference. A revolver is a revolver. When you're calling the man had a weapon, and then you don't know the gun. No. A weapon can be, as I've said, anything. If you got a brick, you turn a weapon, you can use a pen, a pencil. Any object can be used as a weapon. But if you're talking about a gun, then they got different categories. Gun is the generic term, but they got different categories. You get rifle, you get assault rifle, you get pistol, you get revolver, you get musket, you get submachine gun, a whole range of different things, right? So we got to teach y'all these things. And we know y'all ain't get the experience and so on, and therefore we come on with it. But police, first of all, this incident occurred yesterday afternoon. I ain't sure what time. The police issued this wanted bulletin last night. And they're talking about, let me read back what they said. Threatening behavior, threatening language, obscene language, disorderly behavior, assault. Stop there. Stop there. Who is the virtual complainant? Who is the virtual complainant? Because there's no way the police can take action in a matter like this unless there is a virtual complainant who would have given a statement to the police. So even if you saw this thing circulating on social media, you have got to get the virtual complainant, who is the person who was being assaulted. And once you get that person, you have to get a statement from them. That is what gives you the authority to take action. Because when you're talking about threatening behavior, you're talking about threatening language, obscene language, disorderly behavior, you have to get, especially as it relates to threatening behavior and threatening language, you have to get somebody to give a statement. If the young lady threatening behavior, you got to threaten somebody. Threatening language, you got to threaten somebody. And if the person who is threatened said, well, look, I don't want no action, there's nothing the police can do. But this is all politics. You see, Daggy, all of a sudden, align himself with the Win party. So he's going to be targeted. And I understand, based on some social media thing I've seen, that Doggy is likely to turn himself into the police sometime today. Because the talk now, the other part, before I bring in CC, allow me for about a little bit CC, they talk about possession of firearm. Possession. I think in the thing here they say unlawful possession. You can't see it clearly, but they talk about unlawful possession of firearm and unlawful possession of ammunition. No. Take note again, student, take note. If it is that this man is not arrested, because clearly he is not up to the time that they issued the wanted bulletin. You see in the video with the photograph. All right. You check the records, and the records do not show that Mr. Bradley Sampson, a.k.a. Daggy, is a licensed firearm holder. Your records show that. He's not a license, so you put it out on licensed firearm. How do you prosecute a charge based on that of unlawful possession of ammunition? You see any ammunition? You're assuming that the gun that he had ammunition inside? You're assuming that the gun that he had there wasn't a fake gun? You see, I tell you about these incompetent people, you know. I tell you about them. But they run into politics because they want to bring down Daggy and bring down Asruddin Mohammed. This is all what this is about. You see a video because based on their release in the media and the wanted bulletin, based on their release, they don't arrest, they don't see, they never take him, they don't get it gone. Based on their release. So you know it's unlawful possession of firearm. How you know is that a fake gun? And then you're going to talk about unlawful possession of ammunition, even if it's a real gun. How can you assume that it has ammunition inside? You see, I tell you about this incompetent people, and they got a corporate propaganda unit there. They don't know shit, right? They don't know shit. You have to forget the language. They got to be very clear. And they write all of these nonsense. But I and the economy, we're going to go through it. We're going to go through. Before I bring in Mr. Conway, let me tell you, because the propaganda arm, Sheriff News and all of them, run to say that those persons were there to collect money that was owed to them for marching with the Win Party on nomination day. Nothing of the sort. I just do my investigation. Following the march of the Win Party to the Humana Yana on Monday for nomination day, they assembled somewhere by the Kitty Pump, the roundabout there. They assembled somewhere there. Somebody asked him a question. Let me make it clear. Me and supporting Dagi action. Me and supporting, a matter of fact, I could tell you an attack. I made it public at Dagi is somebody I really can't take with the way he utters the thing. I can't, but I'm saying that the police have to be professional. I am saying the police have to be professional by first getting a statement from one or more persons. The person who was assaulted, you should have gotten a statement from her. Because here what Dagi said in the statement, we don't know how true it is. He said, I have personally apologized to the young lady involved. He said he apologized. Did the lady accept the apology and say, me, I want no further action? If she did that, what can the police do? If she decide to give a statement to the police, especially as it relates to the threatening language and the assault. She is the virtual complainant. If she says that, look, I don't want nothing to do, it look like all them from the same thing. It look at them, all them is from the same party. And if she's influenced, or if she decides on her own, look, let's bygone be bygone, what do you think they could do? What can you do, policing? You can't do nothing. You cannot do nothing. You cannot. I was saying, they assembled by the roundabout, and there was pictures circulating. The place was left in a very untidy state. Untidy state, this place that they assembled, a lot of debris on the road and so on. They carried out on the social media to show that these when people move out from there, and they left the place untidy. It is said that following that, the Win Party decided to recruit some people to clean up that place and to put up some flags. That is what is being said. To clean the area. And we get photograph after to show the place spotlessly clean. So it is said that that is what the people went there to collect the money for those who clean the place. But the propaganda arm said, well, they went to collect money for working with the party on nomination day. That is what they say. We know that the PVP paying people for work and do all sort of thing. And then Dagi, they put out wanted bulletin. Since when the police know where Dagi is, about Dagi's whereabouts? Since when? Dagi has boasted openly on social media, posing picture with E and Ikin the squatter. So he get relationship with the crime chief and he get relationship with the head of major crime. Dagi does boast openly. He boasts, you know, if it's true or not. But I have seen video, mind you, not photograph, with Dagi interacting with senior men in the police force. Senior men. So all of a sudden now, they get wanted bulletin for the Dagi. And again, I say to you, I ain't get no sympathy for Dagi. What he did there was absolutely wrong. This is how he organized fight at the Square of the Revolution. They lock you up. We don't know what happened to the matter. Right? I find him a very objectionable character. That is me. Right? I find him that way. I ain't got no apologies for that. But I am talking here now about a system. I am talking about a system that the police, you got to get authority. And you know, the sad part is not so long ago, just about a week ago, the judge in Andedang, the 25 years sentence to the police pointed out, you have to have lawful authority to do certain things. To search a person's place, you have to have a warrant and all that. The judge pointed those things out. So here it is, the issue wanted bulletin. And it doesn't appear that they have a statement from the virtual complainant. The issue wanted bulletin saying unlawful possession of arms, unlawful possession of ammunition, and they want this man, so they ain't get the man, they ain't get the gun. So how you know it's a real gun? How you know that even if it's a real gun, it had ammunition? Yeah, we were frozen there a while ago. I had to do a little magic to get back in. We were frozen there a while ago, so apologies for that. Can you hear me now? Can you see me now? The internet just went a little berserk a while ago. I don't know. I tell you, I do everything to stop this program, But we are determined to make sure that that doesn't happen. We are determined. Somebody say no song? They say yes. People say yes. They're hearing me. Right. So, all right, good. So I think we back. Seeing and hearing. Thank you very much for that. I was just about to bring in Mr. Conway when the thing froze, and we are now back. So let me bring in Mr. Conway. See, this thing with Doggy and all this, man. Let me hear what you have to see.
There are so many issues and concerns, in relation to what took place there. First, the police jumped the gun, come out with statements, and without getting any proper information. As you mentioned, no complaint and all that issue. Let me talk about some of them. For the matter, they quote section 141 of the Summary Jurisdiction Offense Act. And here it says, make use of any threatening, abusive, insulting, or obscene language, gestures, or behavior, or say or signs any insulting or offensive song or ballad with intent to provoke anyone else to commit a breach of the peace, and where a breach of the peace may be occasioned. Section 141A. And that A is in common letters. I see they put out the thing and they capitalize it, they put the A in capital letters. Now, the thing is that to me, it looked like they quote a lot of offenses. To me, it looked like a bad for duplicity. That one you quote one section, and within that section you get about 6 different charges. Something is either one or the other. You give one charge and you stick to it. They say it's bad for duplicity. And as you hinted, Paul, how in heaven's name they're going to see that gun that he had there? How are they going to prove that it is a gun under the Firearm Act? Perhaps they're going to get a ballistics like we did, find a piece of fragment and trace it to a gun in relation to that shooting on the East Coast. The ballistic man might say, just watch the bay picture and say, hey, there's a 3.8, or there's a 9mm, or there's a 3.2, or something. Did they get possession of the weapon? Let me say the gun. Did they get possession of the gun? And did the fireman examine, or the ballistic person examine and say, hey, I examine this gun here, and it is a weapon in relation to the fire. It's a gun under the Firearm Act. Did they do that? And is Doggy a licensed firearm holder? So many things going wrong there. How we never know a name, and then maybe they must get good telescopic and microscopic eyes that they could see through a magazine and see the wrongs inside the magazine. That then do the proper work. They jump the gun, do a proper investigation, and then come out with your statement. Then come out with your with your recommendations. But no, just on face value, just watch it so and say there is a firearm, and say they get ammunition there. The thing is so ridiculous, that they could see through the magazine and say, yeah, the magazine get wrongs inside, and look at the weapon on face value and say, yes, that is a 3.8, there's a 3.2, there's a 9mm, or whatever. How do you know? Well, sometimes a tie gun, sometimes it's a tie gun. No proper investigation, and then putting out a whole lot of offense, which I consider would be bad for duplicity. You got to decide which one you want. Is it threatening behavior? Full stop. Can be threatening behavior, obscene language, insulting language, and a whole sort of other thing, and all under section 4A of, or I don't know, 148 of 148A. No. It's wrong, and there must be police must act more professional. They got to be professional. And I must admit that I hold no brief for Dagi. I hold no brief for the Win Party. I'm not involved in politics. I'm not a member of any party. I don't hold any party card. I don't belong to any political party. But I do comment on political issues. So the police got to get their act together. And let's see what is going to happen maybe before the end of the day or later on.
Yeah, let me see what is going to happen. Again, folks, I apology. I observed that they were frozen again a little while ago. And that. Again, let me emphasize, I owe no brief for Dagi. I owe no brief. What we saw there on the tape, he should be charged and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. But we're saying this thing as a procedure. It as a procedure. And let me look into the crystal ball and tell you all this now. I'm going to look into the crystal ball. I'm going to tell you that the young lady who is involved going to tell the police that she don't want any further action in the matter. If at all they find her, you're going to tell the police, I hope I'm wrong, but that's what the crystal ball is saying. She's going to tell the police, I don't want any further matter any further police action in this matter, because she and Dagi make up. She and Dagi make up. And when that is done, what will you do? That's what the crystal ball is saying. The crystal ball is also telling me that Dagi is going to turn himself in sometime today, if he has not done so already. Because you're not friend in the police force, man. He has both. He has senior friends. He can turn himself in. And because of the political climate, they're going to give you 72. You know what I mean by that? Today is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Till Saturday, at all, if they release it, they're going to release it till Saturday, when the 72 hours expire. Then, he's likely to catch a charge if he's not a licensed firearm holder. But I understand that he get licensed firearm. He get licensed for the firearm. That is my understanding. Because this is not the first time Dagi brandishing the firearm. This is not the first time Dagi brandishing the firearm. So how he get this close association with all them senior people and they don't know if he get firearm or not, if he get a licensed firearm or not. And what can happen if it is that he ain't get, or perhaps even if he get, they're going to charge you for unlawful possession of arms and ammunition. And once he go before the court, is remand, he can get remand. Let me repeat that. Let me repeat that. Dagi is going to turn himself in with accompanying some lawyer, I suspect, right? And once he turns himself in, they're going to put an allegation to you and all him out. In the meanwhile, what they should have done first, they should get a statement from the person who was assaulted. They're going to get difficulty to find she. They're going to, if they find her, they will get difficulty to get a statement from her. And in the absence of a statement from her, many of those charges that they talk about there cannot be proceeded with, cannot legally be proceeded with. But they might try a thing. Railroad, bully, cowboy story might take place. Right? They're going to give you 72. They are going to give him a 72. Meaning he's going to be kept in custody for at least 72 hours. And then they might end up giving you charges, including charges unsupported by any statement from the virtual complainant. Including charges because, sometimes you don't want to shine them, but you got to do. I was frozen there a while ago, I think. And they're trying, they're going to try. I was saying that if you get a statement from the young lady, which I doubt they will get, the statement has to say, you talk about threatening language, threatening behavior, that as a result of the language, as a result of the behavior, she feel threatened. In the absence of that, you don't have a case. You shouldn't even charge in the absence of that. But in this climate, all sort of thing gonna happen, man. All sort of thing is going to happen. But we will follow that to see how it goes. We will follow that because, as I said, Dagi boasted publicly about his association with senior men in the force. Taking out picture with them and put it all over the place. Right? Bradley Sampson called Dagi. And again, I say I hold no brief for him. He should be charged and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Right? But there is a process, police. Can't issue wanted bulletin just so. That is what it does do. Wanted bulletin. You don't even get a statement. You can't legally issue any wanted bulletin based on what you saw on the social media platform, a video circulating. You have got to follow that up. They know who is the name of the person who is alleged to have been assaulted and abused. You got to get that alert. You got to go to the post to get a statement. You're talking about assault. Did you take her to the doctor to get a medical certificate and all of that? To determine whether it's assault causing actual body harm or maybe even wounding. If you assault with the firearm and she got a little cut, right? A wound, because wounding is a cut, you know. You get lacerated wound. And once it's a lacerated wound, you get charged for wounding. So let me understand this thing clearly. I did before say that, give proper police. Wound is a break in the continuity of the tissue of the skin, which causes blood to flow. That's part of the definition I learned years and years ago. What is a wound? And unless the certificate says a wound, you can't charge a wound. If the certificate says what is called swelling or something, maybe assault, yeah? Or assault, depending on the certificate, assault causing actual bodily harm. All of these things. Oh, you all sleep for say you issue wanted bulletin. List a whole range of offenses. And you know the sad part of this before I move on is that the man in charge of crime, Deputy Commissioner Wendell Blanham, is a man admitted to practice law in the courts of Guyana. He admitted to practice law, the crime chief, in the courts of Guyana. And this matter ought to have been reviewed by him. And he ought to know. So what you want to tell me, Nosef know that too? Nosef know that the mere circulating of a video on social media, don't care how violent it might be, that can trigger investigation, but you can't also there when you talk about assault and all them type of thing. You talk about assault, you talk about threatening behavior, you talk about threatening language. How can you? How can you? But as I said, Dagi, wearing the blue. And because he blue, they say your love is not true, so they're going to dash it funny. Again, I say I have no sympathy for Dagi. Well, let me come back. Normally we just start with a little cricket thing. I share the life, man. The numbers look good. We had some interruptions and so on. Yeah, share the life. I'm gonna call me. Was when the last program was Monday. Call me Monday evening. Yesterday they called me again. Well, they're not abusing me like the one what a thing. But they're telling me, sir, Mr. Obia man and all that. Why? Because I said on Monday that West Indies can't last the day. That's even before they start batting, you know. Even before they start batting. They said, Brennan Taylor wants to talk about cricket. Yes, I got to talk about it. Even before they start batting, I said West Indies can't bat 2 sessions. Well, I never anticipated. The ball didn't tell me they'll get all over 27. The second lowest score in the history of Test cricket. West Indies get bowled out for 27. Are you surprised? I am not surprised. I've been telling you all along, look at what's going on. I listened to Carlupo yesterday, lamented the fact that, and what he said make a lot of sense. The West Indies were building a team. They looked like they were improving. They went to Australia, and because of Shamar Joseph's magic, they won the test and leveled the series. When everybody, all the odds were against them, Shamar Joseph, I remember I traveled that same morning, so I didn't get to see the game. When I touched down and I go to Cricket Pro to see West Indies won the game, I had to check back because I said, no, something wrong, some mistake they made. I had to check back. West Indies won. So they leveled a series in Australia against Australia. They then went to Pakistan, and they did likewise. They did well in Pakistan, with Warikan bowling out Pakistan. So there was some sign of improvement. They come to the West Indies. Well, between then and now, I understand they decided because at the time, the head coach was Andre Cooley from Jamaica. Get out of the Blues where Andre Cooley is no longer the coach. Darren Sammy is the coach. Then I learned yesterday for the first time through Carl Hooper that Darren Sammy is a selector. He's the czar of the cricket. So he's coach, he's selector, he's everything. He is everything. And no accountability in West Indies. So you bring this man as coach, 3-0, get bowled out for the lowest score. And let me say this, because you're going to jump on top. Darren Sammy is my personal friend, you know. Darren Sammy is my personal friend. I have nothing personal against him. I talk about from a professional standpoint. I told you all about the standard of cricket. I mentioned it on Monday in reference to John Campbell. They bring him back into the team as an opener. And again, I know John personally. Right? They brought him back in the team as an opener. And I saw this man get out LBW leaving alone the ball. And I said, something is wrong with our cricket. All right, and the cricketers here can understand this. Boland, Scott Boland, I think is his name. Right-hand bowler, medium pace bowler. He's bowling around the wicket to a left-hand batsman. And the left-hand batsman leaves the ball alone and get LBW. How can you leave a ball so close? Or the bowler bowling, right-hand bowler bowling around the wicket. He's bowling around. He's not over the wicket. I ain't got a chance. I ain't going to get the opportunity to go into all this fineries here now. But from the time the right-hand bowler comes around the wicket to a left-hand batsman, you got to be very, very careful because it's LBW and the man bringing it in. You're going to leave it alone. That shows the thinking. That shows the thinking. Then I see what happened. First test, they opened with Craig Braffett and same John Campbell. In second test, same thing. Of course, they didn't fare well. Then in the third test, they make some changes. Braffett got dropped. They brought in the young guy. They carried the Guyanese by as the opener. And I surprised to see the third test now. Campbell, who opened, gone down the line. They don't know what is going on. So what do you expect? I see the president of Guyana issue a statement we're going to talk about just now. Let me tell you this. I said to someone yesterday, and I'm saying it again. West Indies cricket is in the doldrums. There's no recovery to get in our lifetime. That's what I told him yesterday. He said, well, I said, let me understand this. First of all, we don't have the resources to properly resource the cricket and so on. I told them to, I said, let me understand. West Indies is not a country. West Indies is a amalgamation of several countries, and that presents its own problem. That presents a problem of insularity and all of that. Right? Presents its own problems. I said further, let me trace it back. In 1976, I told you all I see before test match in 1968. In 1976, when West Indies went to England and dominated, it is said that the only person who was not a professional cricketer in England was Larry Gomes. All the others had contract and were very familiar with the conditions in England. They were professional cricketers. They played cricket for a living all year round, basically. What happened? The English people changed the rules as it relates to overseas players. So those opportunities were no longer available for West Indies players. And that maybe was the start of the decline of the cricket. So what happened? You know, long ago, even at Case Cup cricket in Guyana, Winston, at least we can remember that. When you hear Colin Craft and Lance Gibbs and Ray Fredericks come back to play cricket, them ground full because they were playing cricket in England. They come, they might take a knock for the club. Everybody gone and see what's going on. Right? Since they implement this Colpack, remember Colpack, some things I can't go into detail, Colpack, where the players, West Indian players don't get the opportunity to play cricket all year round. They play first class cricket in the Caribbean. A very truncated tournament. Very short. Couple of months, 2 months or so the most. And then what happens for the rest of the year for most of the players? What happened? If they're at a certain level, they're going to go one contract and thing and so on. And most of the people are only interested in getting a contract to play in some T20 league or something for making money. Look at the recent thing with this boy, the left-hander from Trinidad, Puran. Puran resigned from international cricket at a fairly tender age. Guy looking for his opportunities in the international. They got a lot of problems with the cricket. So those of us who sit down and watch and think, they got a lot of problem. And I'm saying, look, resources. Back in the day, Guyana, for example, the grounds, they had so many first-class grounds. There is not another country in the West Indies that had that many first-class grounds, top-of-the-line grounds, in like Guyana. In Georgetown alone, they had Border, they had Everest, and others in Georgetown alone, where first-class cricket was played. Even Diamond, the East Bank, I think, first-class cricket. Played Enterprise on the East Coast. You got Bobby, several grounds, Essequibo, Hampton Court. All of those places, I float, and first-class cricket, the grounds were in good shape. Now, most of them grounds are cow pastures. How do you develop players in them conditions? How do you? And then we expect, now, well, DCC was never first-class, Sean. We have a first-class, we have a first division, first-class international cricket. Albion, Port Moran, Skeldon in Bobbies. You have the one, Blairmont. All those were first-class. We talk about first-class ground. But what happened to those places now? You don't get them thing. You don't have those places. You had Gaisuko get their own ground, big top-of-the-line thing. So all of those things, I suspect, contributes to the falling standard of the cricket. All of those things. All. We got people going up, meeting up to the test level, and they ain't even proper first-class cricketers. That is the story. So we got to be realistic. We got to be realistic that we don't have the facilities, we don't have the class, we don't have the money to compete with those people. We don't have it. We just don't have it. And then before I close this part, even with the West Indies board, I think they would admit it, to host an international tournament in the West Indies is perhaps more expensive than any other country. Because for move from one venue to the next venue, you got to use plane, you got to charter plane and all of those things here. You got to charter plane. You go to England, you're in a bus, and they drive you from one ground to the next and all them everything. Several other places. I mean, India big, they might fly you. But West Indies is very expensive and money. What happened to the sponsorship and all of those type of things? Everybody want to control the cricket. And the president calls for accountability. Yesterday, President Irfan today called for accountability to the people of the Caribbean after another disastrous performance by the West Indies team against Australia in Jamaica yesterday. The West Indies were bowled out for 27 and slumped to a heavy defeat. The president's statement follows. It is time for a full evaluation and accountability of the people of this to the people of this region for the disastrous batting performance of the West Indies cricket team. We cannot disregard what all of us witnessed and endured in the last 3 test matches. This is not about our players, administrators, or any individual. It is an entire system that is failing. And together, all of us must fix it now. This cannot continue into another series. We must not allow it to. Well, the other series, Mr. President, is next couple of months, India coming down, I think. I think India tours. Is India? Somebody told the West Indies shortly. Either India or Pakistan. I can't remember. India or Pakistan tour, I think by next month or something like that. Right? So what are you going to fix within that time? What can you fix within that space of time? Very little. This thing is deep-rooted. The decay in West Indies cricket started a long time ago. Everybody want control. Everybody want control. And therefore, you're going to always get problems. You always get problems. Right? Because the cricket is not, even though, look, I don't want to belabor the point. But even the grounds around the the Guyana, just walk around Guyana, most of them grounds is cow pasture. A lot of the grounds are cow pasture. So how are you going to get good cricket coming from there? Cow pasture, that is the reality. That is the reality. And the control, you get people, look, they're more interested. Look, the cricket board, president of the cricket board, the current president, Bisin Diallo, endorsing political party. They're playing politics in the thing. Never happened before, even if you have your preference. How can the cricket board at least the president of the cricket board, endorsing a particular political party. They politicize the thing, and that is part of the problem. That is part of the problem. The politicization of cricket in Guyana is part of the problem. Let me bring him Mr. Conway. He's a cricketer like me. We both played for the police officers team, and therefore I think we understand a little about the game. I played, and let me tell you, I might know, I played cricket at all 3 senior levels in Guyana. I played one Case Cup match against East Coast when they returned to Case Cup some years ago. I played the second division North Coast matches. I played White Cup matches. In terms of the police, I was a Brown Cup champion, the police interdivision thing and so on. See, so they know that I know something we're talking about. Go ahead.
Yeah, the cricket, West Indies cricket, they have multiplicity of challenges. And it hit rock bottom. It can't change overnight. There's no silver bullet. There's no one-shot solution to West Indies cricket. And I can recall, I said it on the last occasion that Michael Holland said, there's no strength on the bench. There's no strength on the bench. And Viv Richards said that the lights are on, but nobody going to the party. We don't have people knocking at the door. I remember Alvin Calitron had to wait a long time, and he was an excellent batsman. Brian Charles Lara. Australia came down there on 5 test matches, and all 5 Lara fetched towel. And he was no ordinary batsman. We don't have the quality of batsmen about the place. We don't have that, and it all buys them to the club cricket. We don't have strong clubs. If you get good clubs, you'll have good national team. And if you get excellent national team, you have good Caribbean team. The president talking, and understand he's the chairman for the section in CARICOM that dealing with cricket. And there's it, when you get politicians involved in cricket, things will go haywire. And the statement what the president McLeod do, he picking at the fruits. And you now look at the root causes of this thing. You pick the fruits, other fruits will come up. But if you chop the main root, the tree will die. They're not looking at the main root. And then, I mean, on the lighter side of things, I hear about agriculture, that CARICOM 25, I think the thing is 25 or 25, that we must reduce the food bill by 25% by 2025, 25 and 25. And we, Mustafa, is heading the Caribbean in terms of agriculture. Perhaps Mustafa played some role in the decline of the West Indies cricket team, because when you look at it, perhaps he had advised them to open a duck farm. 7 ducks in Jamaica, of all places. 7 ducks in Jamaica. They open a duck farm. Maybe Mustafa had a role in 25 by 2025. So there's a whole lot of things they got to do. And for me, they got to start with the root, the club level, national level, Caribbean level, that they got to do things about it. Nobody knocking at the door. You don't see no outstanding outstanding player coming forward. And then Darren Sammy, Supreme Being, he's the only selector, he's the coach, and he's everything. All he doing is talking and monkey out the bird set. And then people imagine if we fall for 27. And I can't forget 27 because 27 is significant for me. My police regulation number was 9027. So I remember the 27 that West Indies fell for. And 7 ducks. We open up a duck farm 25 by 2025.
Yeah, we get duck farm. But let me move on. To tell you now about this. This morning, or last night, more at the murder at Buxton, where 2 men are killed. Incidentally, one of the guys is my neighbor, Mark Correa. Know him from since he was small. And sad, called his mother this morning. She's distraught over the incident. What has been reported? Let me read what has been. Police are investigating a fatal shooting incident which occurred at 23:47 hours last night. That is July 15th at Middlewalk, Buxton, East Coast, Demerara, by persons or persons unknown, and which resulted in the death of 2 persons and injuries to several others. Police are investigating the alleged murder of Leon McFarlane, a 17-year-old unemployed resident of 71 Middlewalk, Buxton, and Mark Anthony Correa, a 30-year-old businessman of Lot 75 Republic Drive, Bedford, East Coast, Demerara, and the attempted murder committed and the names some other people here. Inquiries disclosed that the 2 deceased, McFarlane Correa, and the injured male mentioned above were the shop owned by Asha Robinson, a 41-year-old businesswoman of 69 Middlewalk, Buxton, East Coast, Demerara, playing cards and dominoes when at about 23 hours on she retired to bed, leaving the mentioned persons in the shop. The businesswoman said that around 23:47 hours, she heard several loud explosions, gunshot, sounding like gunshot, and she went out where she saw Mark Correa in a slumped position at the table, what appears to be blood oozing from his mouth, nose, and back. She raised an alarm, and public-spirited citizens responded and assisted in taking her and other injured male mentioned to the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation, where Leon McFarlane was pronounced dead on arrival. The body of McFarlane was examined, and suspected gunshot wounds were seen on the right hand, chest, face, forearm, and right foot. The body was escorted to the GPHC mortuary for storage and postmortem examination. Mark Correa's body was subsequently escorted to the Enmore Regional Hospital and pronounced dead on arrival. His body was examined, and suspected gunshot injuries were seen on his back, left ear, left shoulder, chest, right arm, left jaw, and one above the right eye. The body was later escorted to the Memorial Gardens Funeral Home for storage and post-mortem examination. The others who sustained suspected gunshot injuries are currently admitted patients in Georgetown Hospital Corporation receiving treatment. The scene was processed by investigators, and 40 spent shells comprising 40 29 1.40 29.556 by 45 10 7.62 by 39 were found. 4 projectiles and 2 fragments were also found on the ground in the shop. These were photographed, packed, and lodged. Based on additional information received, a silver color motor car bearing registration number plate PBV 7616 or 7661 was seen circling the area. This was a car that the suspects reportedly used to carry the attack, after which they rejoined the car and made good their escape. Several persons were questioned, and certain information was received in that one of the injured persons has an ongoing problem with a gang referred to as Team Diamond. The injured persons are currently under police guard. The injured persons are currently under police guard. Wonder what they're guarding them for? The injured persons, because here, let me tell you something. As I said, Mark is, I know Mark. I live at 59. Mark, mother, and the father, they live at 57, 58. I think he moved now from there, and he gone to Republic Drive at his residence where Mother Bill House and so on. My neighbor, they watch he grew up from small, dead. People come shoot them up. I understand one man was targeted. They don't tell you that in this release. I know this is from police release. They don't tell you the release. But one man was targeted. One man was targeted. And as I said, the bottom at the last part, one of the persons injured that an ongoing problem with a gang. The gang is referred to as Team Diamond. The gang is referred to as Team Diamond. Big shooting up at the place there. just around midnight last night. And they're telling you about the place being safe and all of that. We tell you dangerous place, guns. And in case you all know, they're talking about 40 spent shells discovered, 40. And then they said 140, what they said, comprising 140. Well, it looked like a pistol. 29.556. 10.7.62 by 39. So these assault rifles used, in case you all know. Assault rifles were used there, shoot up the place. Shoot up the place. Targeting one man, I understand. But the rest are collateral damage. I know Mark Carayo. He's a little boy. My next door neighbor. I live at 59. He lived with his mother and his father at 57, 58. Right? I mean, Mark, very dutiful, get his shop. Because I watch him for here, they're going to swing this one, you know. Watching to here, they're going to swing it. Mark like he damn, you know. And I guess he was playing games. Maybe they even playing for a little something at the place there. He lives at better for walk to the main road, down at the back. Get your own house, he mining fowl, he mining duck, he gas, other thing. Get your own car, you get your own thing where your mother buy for you. That woman got to be distraught. And that is what you have in Guyana. That is what you have. And then they're going to come, they're going to say all manner of things. They're going to say all manner of things, trying to maybe, well, let me predict. Don't let me predict. Let me bring in Mr. Conway, because I get a little worked up, get a little emotional, because I know Mark from since small.
I myself feeling worked up, you know, and it's shocking, but it's true. And then the squatter saying that crime is down by how much percent. And it is the big seller shooting up in Buxton. Big seller, and then persons get injured. They gather them in the hospital. Why they gathering them in the hospital? Go and look for the perpetrators. Go and look for them. Shocking. I myself, I'm perturbed over the whole situation.
But you said they're claiming here that a gang referred to as Team Diamond. They don't know who's Team Diamond. They don't know the people. They don't know who the people who they say belongs to Team Diamond. I know that some of them. You want to tell me the police they know? You want to tell me the police they know? And they come with this and the thing. Guyana is such an unsafe place. Ben sit down playing dominoes. I must a little card and so on. Because I can tell you, I know Mark love this dominoes. Drink a little thing and make enough noise. My next door neighbor. Make enough noise. Can be a little abrasive at times. But I don't know Mark to be involved in crime. Yeah, CC, let me bring you back in here, man, because I get a little emotional.
All right, let's move on, man. Go another topic there, right? You can come back to maybe some other time on it. Yeah. Yeah, pick another topic and let's move on.
Yeah, folks, let me try to compose myself because I really feel hurt about this, you know. But let me moving on. Let me move on. Another shooting they have at Linden. Man shot by police. Let me make this point because you're not gonna come and tell you all sort of thing. The report is that the police went to this man's home at Linden and they claim that he fired at the police. Now I have no. Let me make the point clear. Let me say clear. Once you shoot at the police have a right to respond, and if the response prove fatal, so be it. Right? Because the police are claiming that somebody calling me, I can't answer them now. The police are claiming that they went for this man. Let me read what the story say here. Ghana police force about 45 hours on the 14th. No, this is a old story. This is the wrong thing I get here. This is the wrong story. Yeah, but this is the same story. They're claiming here that they went to this place and the man went out the thing and he fired at the police. He fired some .38 revolver. They say he fired at the police and the police returned fire and the man was killed. I haven't seen anything to contradict or conflict what the police said. But I'm saying that if you shoot at the police have a right to return fire. And if the person is dead, so be it. So be it. But it's at Linden. They claim, or Wismar, somewhere there, right? Because they say police went there, they call out the man run through the back door, and they said police fire. Well, you know, a lot of things come to mind when you hear about these things, you know. A lot of things. They wanted him out for something, and they claim that they went and they called the apartment, and somebody come out, and then at the time the back door opened, and discharge of firearm at one of the rungs, who forced to take cover. He then ran out of the apartment and continued discharging rungs at the rank. Ranks took cover and returned fire in his direction. He fell to the ground at the side of the yard. Ranks approached him. He was lying on his back and fully clothed in a multicolored shirt and black denim pants, 1.38 revolver containing 3 rounds and 3 spent shell. So based on what they're saying, the man fired 3 rounds at the police, and the police returned fire, and he was killed. And again, I say that if you shoot at the police have every right to return fire. You don't fire shot in the air, this nonsense thing in the air. But the only thing that I want to say to the police is that if you're going for somebody, you have to be more tactical. You're going for the person, you got to be more tactical. You can't just assume that, look, this man then surrender or so on. Maybe you surround the place, because I know how many police were going there and what they were actually going. I'm not sure what they were going for, right? But you got to be extremely careful. You got to be extremely careful. And one of they had body cameras to capture the incident and all of that, so at least they can make the presentation and clear the police. So they can clear the police from any allegation of wrongdoing, right? And a fatal shooting by the police. And this again, where the place, fatal shooting by the police, the law requires the involvement of the Police Complaints Authority. Now, the last Police Complaint Authority is dead, buried sometime last week or so. So there's a big vacuum there now. Big vacuum. And that is when you have a system that is not functioning properly. A system that is not functioning properly. Because the complaints authority, you should always have a complaints authority. Always have a person in the office as a complaints authority. Always have some point. So when something like this happens now, because it's what the law requires. Once there's a fatal shooting by the police and other complaints, the law requires the Police Complaints Authority to be part of the whole process. But if you don't have a Police Complaints Authority, what you're going to expect? The last one, just retired Justice Ramlal, I think he was buried last week, but he was sick for some time. He was sick for some time, and the government did not move to make sure that that important office is filled. The important office of Police Complaints Authority is filled, right? So I don't know what is going to happen with this now. Not a fatal shooting by the police, no Complaints Authority. So what happens now? What happens with this matter? Just like the matter with Vaughn. 400 and how much days now the man shoot and kill. You can't hear nothing. Nothing. And that is the problem you have. That is part of the problem you have. Right? So people are being, this man, I want to hear how they're going to deal with it. I want to hear how they're going to deal with it. Right? I'm really anxious to hear how this matter is going to be dealt with. Now, let me bring in Mr. Conway, then I'm going to move on to another matter. CC, your views on this matter that I just talked about.
And, another killing at Linden. And I agree with you that if person shoot at police, police got a right to return fire. The force, when you may fire, say, when you attack and you apprehend serious danger to your person and you are unable to defend yourself by any other means. It's clear. In that case, the shooting, whether you use lethal force or not, would be justified. Somebody died. But then there are so many other issues in relation to this release that I made. They describe, they say, a woman, and they say the building runs north to south. And the woman who they say living with a guy there who died, that she went to the front door and they get her name and she designations as a cook. They might say that an occupant, or a friend, they get your name, full name, and she's a cook. And while she talking to the police there, they said this guy run through the back on the she was north and he run through the southern side of the building. Fire around at the police. Police took cover. Fire another round and the police took cover, and then the police shoot. You mentioned, Paul, what about we start about cordon and search? You go in there, you must have got information who you're going to. You go in there for him, and you're not tactical. People don't surround the building, or is a one man went there, or two person went there. You're saying this man was involved in a series of robberies on Chinese. Aren't you prepared for anything? If he was involved in a series of robberies with Chinese, you just torn up just hoping that he will surrender. Yeah? No proper cordon, no proper search. And as I said before, that the police got a right to respond. Fast forward, there's no police service, there's no police complaints authority. The law said the police complaint authority must supervise. They had no supervision with the last and things. Fortunately, the guy named, they bring in RSS, did the investigation, the crime chief said that the CID was not involved in the investigation. A person died in the hands of the police, and the CID was not involved in the investigation. I know they improve ballistics because the ballistic men come under the CID. So I know that the CID wasn't involved. Here it is, shooting, no police complaints authority. And if you look broader too, there is no police service commission. And the police service commission is responsible for appointment to deal with discipline procedure and removal of from office. No police service commission. 3 years ago, they knew that the police service commission term would have come to end in May this year. Nothing. They gone out. They gone out, and no police service commission, no police complaints authority, and the president talking about accountability and he want evaluation for the West Indies cricket team. Yeah? He getting overboard. He must be bar the yard. He must look after the police, do evaluation and the police. But he get into the Caribbean and he get into cricket. Deal with the thing in the yard. So I know this one gonna play out, but there are many unanswered questions. I won't go into them now, but I'm waiting to see what action will be taken before I comment further on this recent shooting. And something is going wrong with Linden. Linden getting sour. Linden getting like West Demerara. Linden getting sour like West Demerara.
Yeah, well, they got to look at these things, got to look at these things. Something is wrong. West Demerara, talking about West Demerara, let me say we're talking about here. West Demerara, you got an old set of incident at West Demerara. Let me try to remind them of some of these incidents that they have. And something is wrong. Something is wrong, right? Region 3, West Demerara. When I left, I spent a lot of 4 years at TSU, and I went to West Demerara. One of the easier divisions to manage. And you know, yes, the increase in population and all of that, but something is definitely wrong. You have, let me tell you some of the things there now. You have a recent incident of where the Stanley Tongue, West Bank, Demerara. The police confronted man, informed that he was wanted at the station. There's a man who they claim, you remember the story? Police confronted the man, said he wanted the station, and then the man is alleged to have run away. They fire wrong at the man disappeared for like about 2 days. We didn't hear nothing about that. Then when people thought maybe the worst had happened, the man turned up, he was taken to the police station. I think he was sent away on bail. We ain't hearing anything further about that. Big story there because the police claim all sort of things they claim. All sort of things they claim. And then you had the story, West Demerara again, Adriana Young case. Adriana's case. Right? Then you had the Parfait Harmony police station. Police vehicle chase and struck some civilian. Remember the story on the thing that said police vehicle chasing some man, struck and kill a civilian somewhere in the area there. Right? You have the case of the man died in the police station. Man died in the police station. And they were silent about it. And then long after they made a release. Right? Then you got a police rank shoot himself. I understand he underwent surgery and so on. Hope he has recovered on the road to full recovery. A lot of fatal accidents. West Demerara we talking about. I know, let me say this. Back in the day, I mean, the demographics and things would change, but back in the day, as a young officer, that was the first division I went to when I left TSU. And quiet and nice division to work, to learn the policing, and the relatively small, easy access to Georgetown and so on, where you can get guidance and advice. But to see what is going on there now, right? You get fatal accidents, right? You got a report, if you remember, a sergeant was alleged to be leading a housebreaking gang. Then you had not so long ago, ranks at the mall, somewhere there beating a man. All those things were captured on video. Nothing happened. Nothing is happening. And that is why the people believe that they have license to do whatever they want to do. I'm not saying must go after policemen unnecessarily, but police work is supposed to be a disciplined work. And if ranks are exercising or displaying signs of indiscipline, you have to discipline them. Police is a disciplined organization, but for a small division like West Demerara, we should call it D division then. For all of these incidents to be occurring, something must be wrong. Something, you have this thing, as we say, the murder of this girl, the murder of this child at the hotel at the Purica area there. And what has happened? I saw something here. I don't know we can get time to go into it, but just to tell you, the lawyer, Mr. Dr. Dexter Todd, this is on the 13th, May of 7 to say, private international investigative team reviewing the Adriana Young's case. That is the murder at the Doubleday or whatever the hotel name there. They claim, this is on the Kaicho News on the 13th of this month, right? That the private international investigative team is reviewing the Adriana Young case. We don't have enough time to go into it this morning, but I was pleasantly surprised when I saw that because the police had given the impression that everything done. This matter done. She comes, they bury she get thing and everything done. But we're going to go into it in more detail at another time because we don't want to start these things and left you halfway. But coming back to West Demerara, I am saying something is wrong with the management of that division. Something. First division I worked in when I left the TSU as a superintendent. I went there, and then I took command of that division. And it's a nice small division to run. Nice small division. But now it's all sort of thing going on. And I ran there as a greenhorn superintendent, you know. Now you got people the rank of assistant commissioner and all the everything running there. You didn't hear nothing. You get a matter where they commanded their assistant commissioner Mandal, following this issue, was sent on leave, following pressure from people sent on leave. We ain't hearing anything anymore. Just so we can slip back in the system. You ain't hearing nothing anymore about that thing. They set him on leave because first they transferred him, and then because of an uproar, they said, go on leave. So you getting pay and everything, you can leave, getting pay and everything. And we ain't hearing anything further. And watch out. Don't slip back in quietly. Slip back in. I know what? Again, I ain't blaming Mandal, you know. I'm blaming the system that allows for a person like Mandal and many others to get to an assistant commissioner level with limited or no training and experience. And that is what the problem you will get. That is problem because, you know, one of the problems they have is that you have these people pitchforked into positions and there's nobody in the system to guide them. They are now dependent on politicians to take the political line. But back in the day, CC will tell you, we knew that we get promoted and so on, to young officers and so on, but we had senior seasoned officers to guide us. And we show the interest in making sure that we go and we learn. But now, what happening? There's nobody to guide. You got a man there as commissioner, you know, Jack. And many of the senior people, they can't guide the people below them. That is part of the problem. And when you talk these things, Vex, we are not attacking personality, we are attacking the system. The system is wrong because these people are being passed through the system quick time, and they're not provided with the necessary training. Just promote them. Political promotions. So you have commanders, the most senior men in divisions, who had no jack. So how they're going to control, how they're going to command and control a division? They had no jack. And they're taking political instructions and directions. In our day, we were well trained. And we had mentors in the force who would guide us as to what the correct thing is. Well-trained and mentorship is a very important thing. Because when you're out there, you're going to know everything. You're going to confront it with some situations that you need to pick up the phone and call somebody to get proper advice. Somebody who know, not somebody who can bluff you and make you do the wrong thing. That is part of the problem. Let me bring in Mr. Conway. We had another whole set of issues here, but I get a little upset and I get a little emotional with this killing of my neighbor and so on. So let me bring in CC to make his final comments, and then we're going to tell you about the look forward. CC, go ahead, my brother.
You use the correct word, you know, mentors. We had good mentors, and we were good mentees. That we had the urge to learn. We wanted to learn. Like you, I was commando, the division in West Demerara, and I got promoted from senior soup to assistant commissioner right there. And let me just say a couple of things about West Dem, you know. I see they putting up the commissioning a whole set of buildings. Buildings can make the police be efficient and effective, make them comfortable, perhaps too comfortable. Where they drag by the command center, the same command center that give them the information that Adriano had gone into a vehicle. They give the description of the vehicle, the number and everything the same, and then they're saying that they type in the wrong date, you know, and that is the command center. And then the latest one, where the allegation is that a police rank charged with a traffic offense, sentenced to 9 months in prison. He go and serve his time in prison, come out back. He wasn't dismissed. He wasn't dismissed. And when I do check, for the 9 months he was in prison, his family was drawing his salary. Sandwich or salary, and they're telling he got to pay back. I know to dismiss him to know, I know what is his present status, but he served 9 months and get 9 months pay that the family due the 9 months salary. No checks and balance. The prosecutor ain't saying nothing. The station sergeant saying nothing. The sub-division officer ain't saying nothing. The finance people ain't saying nothing. So the commander in the old ward is still in special branch. These are the kind of things that going on there. And then my favorite region, 8, that double murder. I hear nothing about the double murder. I know if they're gone in the mountains yet. I know if they're gone to Orange Oak, Kato, Monkey Mountain, or the Pacaraimers.
Yeah, my brother. Thank you very much. Thank you. In terms of the other stuff, let me show you all this one. I can show you all this repeatedly. Let me understand what is going on. This is a case. Look at it. Let me show it again. I told you all about that. That is 2 Chinese nationals beating up a man. I think it's Bartica area. I can't be sure. I think it's Bartica. The charge, assault, however, fine $15,000 each. $15,000 each, and that's it. 15,000, that's it. That is what we have come to. That is what we have come to. We are not attacking anything with deportation. This place is a sad place, Sad place. That is what we have. Sad place. Let me play you all the next tape. You're going to see this for the first time. This is Bishop, I think it's Bishop Raphael Messiah. Listen to this carefully.
Men calling each other on television wicked, especially during this political season. Oh, man. All I'm saying to you, you choose where you're going. You choose how you'll exercise your franchise. But don't wander away from the principles of God. You know the principles. And you see people doing things, saying things, and you know it jars your very spirit. But you like what they have. And you like what they're offering you. Here the wise man said, here, there are traps set all around, but there's a personal confession. I have not wandered.
That's Reverend Messiah. The whole story is, he's correct. He is correct. Can't wander away from the principles for a few dollars more. Can't. And I can continue to remind people of that. Play the tape and remind people. Especially in this election season. They're coming to tell you all sort of things. All sort of things. They're going to come. They're going to chew at your foot. Chew all sort of things. Chew money. Chew, if you like liquor, they're going to bring liquor. And all kind of things they are going to chew. All type of propaganda. Because they have the money. Let me understand. They have the money. Referring it to the PPP. They got money. They're going to show it that people like money. Especially as some of the youths. They're going to show. But you have got to let them know. You have got to bring these things to their attention. To show what is happening in this place. When you see 2 Chinese nationals kicking up a man like that, and then they find $15,000 each or something like that, and they're still in the country. They're not Guyanese. They're not Guyanese. You Guyanese do the same thing. It's jail, you're going to jail. It's jail, they're going to send you to jail. But that is the animal farm in which we live. And I want you all to be conscious of that. Especially in this silly season, as they call it. Silly season. Silly season, nothing else. All election season, silly season. You get how many days more before polls. You go to the poll for elections. That is what's going to happen. They're coming and going to flash all sort of thing. All the years they've been doing them thing, but all of a sudden, They're going to open building. They're opening police stations. Good. New police stations. But are those stations properly equipped to serve the public? And when we talk about equipped, we're talking about things like the policemen being properly trained and all that. It's going to be confusion and chaos. Confusion, they're going to talk about BAME because the first says, oh, we give them a new building. Oh, we give them vehicles. But building and vehicles can't cut it alone. You have to have ranks who is properly trained, who is properly remunerated, and who is properly motivated to do the work. Properly motivated. And you know, in management, they tell you, money is not the only motivator. You got a lot of other things to motivate people. But they believe that they're going to come and throw money at people and so on, and you're going to vote, and you're going to vote for them. Your vote is important. Your vote is important. You get a chance coming up for you to assess and make wise decisions. Money can float all over the place. And let me tell you something. When people offer you money, right, it's like I pass. Because I believe that is what you value. That is why they come and show little money. But your money should be coming your way all year round. If you have a proper system, all year round. But what? They're thieving out the money so much. And then they believe certain type of people show a little bone at them, and that's sufficient for them. That is I pass. Some people say it's ras pass. Show a little bone now. All the time you're neglecting, and all of a sudden now they come, they're going to show a little bone at you, and then they expect you to support them. And unfortunately, a lot of people will do that. A lot of people will do that because they get you in a state now. A lot of people are not wise enough to see through the subterfuge. That is the problem in this silly season, you know. PvP launched a campaign on Sunday, make a whole set of knives and all that other thing there. You can see what's going on. Then they had nomination day, was when Monday, yesterday, day before yesterday, to see what the police were made to do on the East Bank with those people traveling from Linden. Stop all them buses with supporters to the parties, them coming down and so on. Stop the buses, delay the buses for no proper reason. No proper reason. That is how those things are can't say unnecessary. Those things should be dealt with. Why the stop bus coming down to bring party for the nomination day arrangement? Of course, they get on their party uniform and so on, so they are easily identifiable. And to see the video circulating, we did just stop them there and get them waiting. Deny them the opportunity to come and to march to their party. And you're telling me that is a professional police force? That is what they're doing? That is what they're doing. Folks, the time is going to come very soon when we all have a choice to make. And many times the choice is not about us, because many of us are closer to the grave than to any place else. Many of us. It is for our children and our children's children. What you want them to come up in, what you want them to come up as. But I see why there, it look nice. The rich getting richer through all type of illegal means. And the poor getting little crumbs through other way. And I understand, you know, let me understand this. Because when people are deprived of resources, deprived of the opportunity to earn, deprived of the opportunity to learn, and then a little crumbs is thrown in your way, it's only natural for you to also gravitate and to take it. It is natural. But you should let them know that your value more than that. Take it. I didn't tell you don't take it. Take it. And when the time comes for you to make your change, to make a change, make the change. When the time comes for you to exercise that right that you have, that constitutional right, choose wisely. Choose wisely. Choose wisely. I am saying, and I have said before, the direction in which our beloved country is heading is that what I want for the people coming up. And I'm sure many of you would share the same view. Not what we want. Crime. Even though they come and they bluff with you about crime, look where we are there, 2 men killed. Others in the hospital, the neighbor, Mark, killed. Man slump on the table, the thing is there. I spoke to his mother this morning, distraught. Right? Killed. Sit down there like domino. I remember we used to play domino next door, even next door neighbor. Sit down, they play domino, you little loud and so on, we play with domino and thing. And of course, you play domino, the mother gonna make little cutters and all this. I think how we live, the mother is Indian, you know, the mother is Indian. But we live so close, very, very close as neighbors. Look out for each other. Man shot and killed, slum there. He likey dominoes. Likey dominoes. When his father was alive, we had a domino right there. We used to sit down and play domino, and you little cutters and so on coming up. Man gone. Young man, life snuffed out. There's the country you want to live in. There's the country you want to bring up our children or our children's children in. Not me. Not me. Folks, we've had a long morning. When I think about that incident, I get a little emotional. And therefore, you all must forgive me. I got to share this last one before we give the closing. Don't forget this one.
Sit there and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Jurong?
Su? Oh, Su? My relationship? Nothing. He's a tenant in my place, yeah.
And he's a good friend of yours?
Yes, yes, he is a friend of ours.
He claims
he's a friend of ours. Su Jurong. Get an opportunity now to correct all them things. Corruption allegation. Can you imagine that? Such a serious allegation made against Bara Jagdeo. No investigation. None whatsoever. He sued the man. What does that prove? The man has never been found since. Does that prove that the allegation is wrong? One of these days, I'm going to play the extended version where the people went into his living room. These people posing as businessmen went into the living room of the vice president and started and attempted to negotiate. But you know, he's a wise character. He said, no. Su looked after that part of the business. That is what he's on tape saying. I'm going to play the thing here at one. We want you to know who these people are. We want you to know who they are. Then when the people can point finger, let me tell you something. In all my years in the force, people know that nobody can accuse me of corruption. None. Right? They try all sort of thing. I against corruption. And I dealt with policemen and others who were corrupt. Dealt with them. Condemnedly. Men got to jail, all sort of thing. Corruption. But them encouraging corruption. Them encouraging the corruption. Because many of them are corrupt. Many of them are going to bring up, I'm going to remind you all of some things with all them car wash, and detail for much $100,000. I'm going to bring it up to remind you all what we're dealing with, and you're going to get an opportunity to make a change very soon. So, folks, we have had a long morning, and thank you for the attendance. You attended in large numbers today, and I thank you for it. I never take your attendance for granted, because I know you could have been doing other stuff. But in this, what we call city season, I think we have a responsibility to bring information to you and let you decide. Look at the information and you decide where you want to go. Because they're going to come and they're going to tell you all kind of thing, you know. They're going to take your money and they're going to do all sort of thing at this stage. All sort of thing for you to forget all the bad things that they did. They're going to come and they're going to tell you that. But we are going to come and we're going to tell you the facts. We're going to bring you the facts, and we know as reasonable people, you're going to be able to make your own determination as to how things are, what it should be. So let me leave you now. We have spent a long time this morning. Sorry for the few interruptions. It was beyond our control, the net bubble and all of that. And all I need to say to you now is that God's willing, we're going to be here again. We're planning Friday afternoon. You know, Fridays we come in the afternoon for another episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption, Incompetence. We got a lot to expose. We got a lot of stuff left back too, because the killing last night, another thing, the doggy thing, we didn't get, that wasn't planned, but we have to bring it to your attention. So until then, be good until we meet again. We're planning to come again Friday. You know, Fridays in the afternoons. So until then, stay well. Bye.